We at Case IH thank you for your purchase of an MX Series Magnum tractor. MX Series Magnums are powerful machines, purpose-built for row crop applications. In this program, we'll look at the surveyor cab and the location and operation of the controls. We'll review the transmission options and how each one operates. We'll also discuss attachment tips, MX Magnum safety systems, daily maintenance, and other routine procedures such as jump starts. Remember, though, that this program is designed to provide an overview. Before you operate your MX Magnum tractor, read your operator's manual carefully and keep it with you as you work to answer questions that might arise. Both this video and the operator's manual provide important information concerning the proper use and maintenance of your tractor. Careful attention to these guidelines will result in peak performance now and for years to come. To help you get the information you need quickly, this video has been color-coded by section. Simply look for the color bar in the lower right-hand corner to find any section you choose. The MX Series Magnum features a surveyor cab with 4 wide steps, an easy-to-reach door handle, and a wide threshold for easy entry and exit. These steps are adjustable in and out and up and down to assist in cab entry. An additional lower step can also be added if necessary. The Optima air suspension seat features 8-way adjustment for greater comfort. These adjustments include height control, fore-aft positioning, and a swivel control that provides 3 fixed positions as well as free swivel. In rough terrain, hydraulic shock absorber isolation controls allow the seat to float fore and aft and side to side. Both isolation controls can be locked to prevent movement. The damper on the standard seat provides infinitely variable firmness adjustment, and the thumb wheel under the left armrest controls lumbar support firmness. Armrest height is also adjustable to operator preference. Backrest angle is also adjustable using this lever. The deluxe and luxury cab options also feature a seat heater for greater operator comfort and relaxation. The positive response seat suspension is standard on luxury cab models and optional on deluxe models. This system uses sensors and controllers to send signals to the seat shock absorber to ensure proper seat damping. Never operate the tractor without first fastening the seatbelt. The seatbelt fastens by placing the metal eye of the belt into the buckle until it locks. Then adjust the belt to a comfortable position as low on your body as possible. To release, push the button in the center of the buckle and remove the metal eye. Adjacent to the operator's seat is an instructional seat designed for use in training new operators. It is not intended for use as a passenger seat or for use by children. The seatbelt must be used when the seat is occupied. On the steering column, the transmission control lever allows the operator to select park, forward, neutral, or reverse. The self-canceling turn signal lever also includes the horn button and the high-low beam switch. The steering column adjustment pedal is located between the inching pedal and brake pedals. Depressing the pedal allows you to both tilt the column and telescope the steering wheel forward or back. The brake pedals can be used separately or locked together. The pedals must be interlocked to provide equalized braking when traveling on roadways. A foot throttle is also available. Operators who have this option can use it to override the speed set with the hand throttle. The inching pedal is used for fine control of tractor movement, such as attachment hookup. Standard instrumentation is mounted at eye level on the right front post. It includes both upper and lower panels. The upper panel houses the engine oil pressure, engine coolant temperature, and fuel level gauges. It also includes indicator icons for MFD engagement on mechanical front drive equipped tractors, for differential lock and PTO engagement. The high beam indicator and stop engine warning indicator appear on the upper panel as well. The lower panel can display engine RPM and ground speed in English or metric units, depending on operator choice, forward or reverse gear selection, and current transmission lever status also appear on this panel. The programmable display provides text messages to the operator. Icons allow the operator to see at a glance the system affected. A third panel on the right front post provides space for the optional performance monitor. The performance monitor tracks information such as wheel slip, acres per hour, fuel remaining, percent of power and slip, remote flow visual readouts, remote valve time, distance, timer, and service functions. It also is programmable to provide service reminders. The performance monitor also includes automatic engine shutdown when out-of-range engine conditions are detected. This automatic shutdown occurs after the stop engine warning has occurred for 30 seconds. The standard instrumentation provides the same audible and visual warnings without the automatic shutdown feature. Changing performance monitor settings and entering data is simple. Step-by-step instructions are provided in the operator's manual. The center console includes the ether switch for machines equipped with ether starting, a rocker switch for the road lights and flashers, and a 4-position work lamp switch. This switch also turns on the front and rear HID lights if equipped. Directly below the rocker switch for the road lights and flashers is the key switch. The key switch has 4 positions. The accessory position can be used to operate most electrical functions when the engine is off. The off position stops the engine and all electric functions. The key can be removed only when the switch is in the off position. Next to off is the on position. This is the position the key is in under operating conditions. The start position is engaged when starting the tractor. To start the tractor, first make certain that all controls are in neutral and the transmission lever is in the park position. Never attempt to start the engine unless you are in the operator's seat with the seatbelt fastened. On the MX210 and 230, move the throttle lever to the 1/3 open position and turn the key until the engine starts. On the MX255 and 285, move the throttle lever back all the way before turning the key. In cold weather, allow the electric fuel pump to stop pumping before cranking the engine. Allow the engine to idle for a few minutes until it warms up. Check the oil pressure gauge to make certain that the pressure registers in the green zone. If it is in the red, shut the engine off immediately and check for the cause. The engine can be started with the PTO switch in the on position. It will not operate, however, until you move the switch to the off position and back to on. In cold weather, it's especially important to make sure that the batteries are fully charged and that the fuel is clean and free of water. Topping off the fuel at the end of the workday prevents this condensation. For information on cold weather starting with starting fluid or ether, see your operator's manual. Be aware that extended operation at low idle speeds can prevent the engine from warming up properly. The recommended idle speed without load is 1500 RPM. For more information, check your operator's manual. The adjustable armrest console houses the majority of operator controls. At the top are the throttle lever, the gear selector switch, and the hydraulic control levers, which regulate the hydraulic flow to the remote couplers at the rear of the tractor. The 4-function hydraulic control levers are designed so that they can be operated easily, even while wearing gloves. Pulling the lever back raises the implement. Pushing it forward lowers it. Full forward engages the float position, which allows implements to follow the ground contour. The center position is neutral. The lever remains in position after it has been moved to remind the operator that it has been cycled. Every MX Magnum supports up to 5 remotes, with a 5th activated by a switch. The 5th valve is not full function. The remote function controls have 5 positions. The first, the position farthest to the left, sets the remote circuit for hydraulic motor use. The next position is used when operating a front-end loader. The third, or full function position, allows full use of the remote lever. The fourth locks out the float position. And the 5th position locks the remote lever in neutral. The hitch controls include the up-down switch, which raises and lowers the hitch, and the load control knob, which increases or decreases the draft load on the tractor. Turn the knob clockwise to increase draft load and counterclockwise to decrease load. The hitch position control lever raises and lowers hitch-mounted implements and selects their working position. The lower limit stop sets the desired lowest position for the attachment. To lock out the switch for transport, pull back on the sides of the lever. rotate it to 12 o'clock, and click it into the detent. Other console controls include the differential lock and PTO switch, the controls for MFD engagement if the tractor has that option, the auxiliary auto mode switch for laser-operated implements, and the optional wheel slip limit control. If your tractor has the optional creeper transmission, its switch replaces the auxiliary auto mode switch. The auto shift switch also appears on the console. The MFD and differential lock switches are both 3-position rockers. Pushing the switches forward will engage the manual mode. In the manual mode, the MFD will remain on regardless of any other tractor or implement operations. The differential lock will remain on unless the brakes are activated or ground speed exceeds 10 miles per hour. Should either occur, the diff lock goes to neutral. Mechanical front drive can be engaged on the go or while the tractor is stopped. The center position is the off position. In this position, the differential lock will always be off. The MFD, however, will be engaged even in the off position if both brakes are applied to provide all-wheel braking. The rear position is the automatic mode. In the automatic mode, both functions are automatically engaged. This end-of-row feature works with both hitch-mounted and drawbar implements. The automatic end-of-row feature enables the operator to make the end-of-row turn with only one switch movement. Lowering a 3-point hitch-mounted attachment activates the functions automatically. When the hitch is raised to a pre-programmed 50 to 90% of its set raised height, the functions will temporarily be turned off. As soon as the hitch is lowered, they will reactivate. Refer to your operator's manual for information on hitch programming. The brakes can be used as a turning aid without disrupting the automatic function of either the MFD or differential lock. Both will resume as the hitch is lowered. To use the automatic end-of-row function with drawbar implements, place the position control lever in the transport position and the hitch switch in the raised position. Place the MFD and differential lock switches in the automatic mode. When either brake pedal is depressed, the functions will temporarily deactivate until the pedal is released. Likewise, an optional implement status switch can be installed on a drawbar implement that will temporarily deactivate the MFD and diff lock when the implement is raised. When the implement is lowered, these functions will reactivate. In the automatic mode, both the MFD and diff lock will deactivate if ground speed exceeds 10 miles per hour. When speed drops below that point, the MFD will reactivate, but the differential lock will not. To reactivate diff lock, cycle the switch to the off position and then back to auto. The PTO is engaged by lifting the yellow PTO switch and pushing it forward. Once it has been engaged, the switch stays in the raised position. To disengage, pull the switch back. An alarm will sound if you leave the cab while the PTO is in operation. To activate the optional creeper speed control, stop the tractor and put it in park or neutral. Turn on the creeper drive control. Put the transmission control lever in forward or reverse to start the tractor moving. Use the gear selector to change gears. A C is displayed next to the selected gear on the instrument panel to indicate that the creeper is engaged. To deactivate the creeper, stop the tractor. Put the transmission control in neutral or park and turn the creeper switch off. The optional wheel slip limit control is available for tractors equipped with radar and the optional performance monitor. This control prevents wheel slip from exceeding a preset limit when using the 3-point hitch. If wheel slip exceeds the set amount, the hitch raises automatically. This improves draft control operation. Please note, for the wheel slip measurement to be accurate, calibrate the radar unit per the instructions in the operator manual. To prevent the hitch from raising in excessive wheel slip conditions, turn the control off. Hydraulic flow controls for the remotes at the rear of the tractor are located underneath the armrest. Each control is numbered to correspond to the remote. To increase hydraulic flow, turn the control clockwise. To decrease flow, turn it counterclockwise. If the tractor is equipped with a performance monitor, the visual display will indicate the percentage number as the knob is turned. The remotes all use time-release detents, which are not affected by system pressure. A single timer, which is adjustable from 1 to 30 seconds, or continuous flow, controls the remotes on non-performance monitor models. If the timer knob is turned completely clockwise, the remote valves will continue to supply hydraulic flow until they are manually turned off. To the rear are 3 hitch controls. The upper limit control limits the amount of upward hitch travel. This allows you to carry implements at a preset height. The hitch travel control adjusts the range of hitch height movement according to load variations on the hitch. Turning the lever clockwise improves load control and the ability to track soil contour. Adjusting counterclockwise reduces hitch movement and increases load variation. The drop speed control regulates the speed with which the hitch lowers. To increase speed, turn the knob clockwise. Turn it counterclockwise to reduce drop speed. For use with trailed implements, a depth control switch is also included. When ride control is activated, the hitch will cushion shocks. It activates when the position control lever is in the transport position and the hitch up-down switch is in the raised position. The tractor must be moving at a speed above 1.5 miles per hour for ride control to be in effect. Additionally, there must be at least 15 inches of clearance between the implement and the ground when operating with ride control on. Adjustments for airflow throughout the cab and other environmental controls are located on the right-hand fender panel. At the top of the panel are blower and temperature controls. For MX Magnum tractors equipped with 3-position automatic temperature control, a digital temperature display also appears here. The rocker switch has a neutral position, an auto mode, and a defogging position. There are also controls for the optional power mirrors, the front and rear window wipers, and an optional strobe or beacon. The cab offers up to 6 auxiliary power connections for additional 12-volt equipment, including implement controllers, CB radios, laptop computers, and cell phones. 1 monitor bracket on the A post and 1 at the right-hand window facilitate mounting of additional monitors in the cab. The MX Magnum features an electronically controlled, full power shift transmission with outstanding shift quality and smooth control, with no clutching needed to shift gears. It has 18 forward gears with 8 gears in the 3 to 8 mile per hour working range. It has 4 reverse gears, an electronic shuttle for easy changes between forward and reverse without clutching. Units equipped with the optional creeper transmission have a total of 24 forward and 6 reverse gears. The transmission is programmed to start up in 7th gear forward and 2nd gear in reverse. On initial startup, the clutch pedal must be cycled 1 time before starting in forward or reverse. This is also true if the operator leaves the seat with the engine running. A CP indicator will appear next to the gear selector as a reminder. When you shut the tractor down, the parking brake engages automatically. If, for any reason, you ever need to tow your tractor, the park brake must be released. Your operator's manual has complete instructions for this procedure. All MX Magnum models have a maximum road speed of 25 miles per hour for efficient roading. The auto shift feature permits the tractor to automatically downshift as required to maintain constant engine load. In the AFO, or automatic field operation mode, the transmission automatically downshifts from the gear in use when added engine load is detected, then upshifts again when the load condition has passed. The AFO position is used up to 12th gear. In automatic road operation, or ARO, gears change up or down according to engine load and throttle position. ARO can be entered in gears 11 through 18, but the transmission only downshifts to gear 13. There is no automatic transition between auto field operation and auto road operation. You must exit the current mode of operation to enter the alternate mode. The inching pedal disconnects the transmission, but is not required to change gears or direction. As previously mentioned, it can be helpful in attaching implements or for maneuvering in tight spaces. The programmable upshift-downshift switch can upshift or downshift the transmission 1 to 4 gears with 1 push of the button. This is useful on the headlands for a quick turnaround, increasing productivity. Refer to the operator's manual for the programming procedure. The constant engine speed control, available on all electronic controlled engine models, maintains engine RPM under varying load conditions. This is useful in applications where a steady PTO speed or hydraulic flow is required, such as planting or spraying. This control can also set a maximum RPM limit, even though the throttle is in the full forward position. This is useful to prevent overspeeding a PTO-driven implement, such as a pull-type combine that requires the throttle to be set at less than full throttle. To activate, turn the control on and move the throttle to the maximum position. Adjust the maximum speed by pressing the top of the switch to increase the speed, or the bottom of the switch to decrease the speed. Each press will change the speed by 10 RPM. The optional suspended axle improves ride quality and operator comfort. The suspension is active when traveling above 0.9 miles per hour, unless it is turned off by pressing the switch. If travel speed increases to 7.5 miles per hour, the axle suspension will engage, even if the switch is in the off position, to provide a smooth ride. The MX Magnum is a versatile machine, capable of operation with a wide range of attachments. Before you hook up any implement, however, be sure to thoroughly review the instructions in the operator's manual and those provided by the implement manufacturer. If there are any conflicts between the instructions, discuss them with your dealer or the implement manufacturer. All MX Magnum tractors come equipped with a sliding, swinging, or heavy-duty drawbar. Both have 6 position settings, 1 for storage when using the 3-point hitch, and 5 for different PTO applications. Remember, any time that you change PTO shaft size, you must also reposition the drawbar to meet the required length from the end of the PTO shaft to the center of the drawbar hitch pin hole. Failure to adjust the drawbar to the proper length could result in damage to the tractor or to the PTO driveline. Refer to the tractor or implement instruction manuals for more information. When attaching an implement to the drawbar, raise the 3-point hitch completely to prevent interference with the implement. All MX Magnum tractors can be equipped with an optional auto-pin hammer strap that simplifies coupling to tongue-equipped implements. With the pin in the up position, it automatically drops from its cradle into the tongue and locks when the implement tongue contacts the trigger. For clevis-type hookups, remove the hammer strap from the tractor before pinning the implement in place. Use a hardened steel pin to make the connection and secure it with a lock pin. The hammer strap can be turned over to match different implement tongue heights. The auto pin will not operate in this position, however. Trailing implements require a safety chain and lights whenever they're attached to the tractor. Run the chain through the D-ring and around the drawbar support, then secure it in place. To connect the lights, plug them into the 7-pin connector at the rear of the tractor. To connect an implement with a heavy tongue weight, such as a planter or grain cart, the optional high-capacity drawbar must be used. The high-capacity drawbar has a vertical tongue load rating of up to 11,000 pounds. It has 3 swing positions and 6 PTO drawbar positions and is equipped with an auto-pin hammer strap. The electronic 3-point hitch was designed as an integral part of the tractor. This new design increases overall tractor stability and helps to reduce compaction by decreasing weight transfer from the implement to the tractor during field operation. The hitch is set up for Category 3 implements, but the optional quick hitch coupler offers easy convertibility to Category 3N without removal of the coupler. This is standard on all models but the MX285, which comes with a rigid coupler. To convert to Category 3N, remove the bolt on the side of each hitch arm and remove the inner block. Reposition the inner block on the outside of the hitch arm and bolt the assembly back together. Remove the bolts on the coupler and adjust the width of the hitch to the narrow position. The top link has 3 positions, 1 for extra lift height, 1 for PTO-driven implements, and 1 for non-PTO implements or tillage. Refer to your operator's manual for adjustment information. Before attachment, check the tractor and implement manuals and adjust the bottom links to the proper height. The latch handles attach automatically in the down or engaged position. The upper link and lift link can be used to adjust and level the coupler. The lift link has a mechanical float position. As a rule of thumb, if you're pulling a ground engaging implement as wide or wider than your tractor, you'll typically want the hitch to float both laterally and vertically. You can set the mechanical float lock pin to operate with movement by removing the float lock pins, or without movement by placing them in the float lock position. The lateral float can be set for rigid, sway, or limited sway position by adjusting the sway blocks. Pinning the blocks in the rigid setting provides minimum side-to-side movement in both the working and transport positions. The sway position allows maximum movement when the hitch is lowered, and no sway in the transport position. The limited sway position allows for some lateral movement when the tires are at the minimum tread setting. The remote hitch switch on each fender can be used to raise and lower the hitch from outside the tractor to aid in leveling an implement. Before using the switch, make certain that the transmission is in park. Push the top switch to raise the hitch and the bottom switch to lower it. When you release the switch, the hitch will stay at the selected height until you use the hitch controls inside the cab. To operate after the remote switches have been used, the hitch must be captured. The flashing indicator serves as a reminder. To capture the hitch, move the position control lever through the range where the hitch arms are. The hitch will then function with the up-down switch. If the hitch fails to capture, refer to your operator's manual. Once the implement is connected to the hitch, check that both latches are fully engaged across the implement lift pins. Make sure that you connect any implement lights or monitor cables before operation. For implements that use orbital motors, MX Magnum tractors can be equipped with an optional motor return port as a factory or field-installed option. The return port reduces back pressure in the return line, resulting in more efficient operation with reduced heat buildup in the hydraulic lines. The case drain port for the orbital motor directs flow directly back to the tractor tank. A power beyond valve with a motor return port, supply port, load sense port, and case drain is also available as an option. To safely connect an implement, put the tractor in park. To prevent unintended tractor movement, turn off the engine. Use the implement instruction guide to ensure proper hydraulic hose hookup and correct lighting connections. If the implement has a monitor, the connecting cable should be run through the location provided at the rear window. As we noted before, each remote coupler is identified by a number that corresponds to a similarly numbered control in the cab. To connect the hoses to the coupler, rotate the cover. Insert the male connector and push it in place. Use caution in connecting the hydraulic lines. Hydraulic fluid under pressure can penetrate your skin and cause serious injury. Make sure that all hydraulic connections are tight and that the hoses are in good condition before pressurizing the system. Never check for hydraulic leaks with your bare hands when the system is pressurized. Use a piece of wood or cardboard instead. To check your connections, operate the remote control levers. Pulling back raises it. Pushing the lever forward lowers the implement. Adjust the hydraulic flow and timer as needed using the controls located under the cab armrest. To set the standard timer, set it for the remote valve requiring the longest time. Each valve operating will work to the preset time. Rotate the knob fully clockwise for constant pressure. If continuous flow and pressure are not required, rotate the knob counterclockwise. On tractors equipped with the optional performance monitor, the timing of each individual remote valve can be adjusted from 1 to 30 seconds. The MX Magnum Series PTO supports a full range of equipment. The PTO features a safety guard to protect you and others from injury. This guard raises to allow easier attachment of PTO-driven equipment, then lowers into the level position during operation of the equipment for transport or storage. Attachment of PTO implements must be made with the engine off. The PTO shaft rotates about a half turn with the engine off to assist in connection of the PTO shaft. If your tractor is equipped with the multi-shaft feature, changeover is simple. Lift the PTO safety shield to provide access to the 4 housing assembly bolts. Remove the bolts, spacer, housing assembly, and shaft from the tractor. Next, remove the installed shaft and replace it with the one you intend to use. Replace the housing components and retorque. The operator's manual has the correct torque specifications for the bolts. Remember that the drawbar must be repositioned to match up with the different PTO shaft size. When you change PTO shafts, the tractor adjusts automatically to show the correct PTO speed. Proper weighting and ballasting is important to the overall performance of your MX Magnum in field operations. For detailed information, the best place to start is with your operator's manual. Ballasting guidelines are provided for both 2-wheel drive and mechanical 4-wheel drive tractors. Be sure to use the appropriate guide for your setup. As a general rule, weight splits for MFD tractors should be 35-65 for towed and semi-mounted equipment, and 40-60 for fully hitch-mounted equipment. For 2-wheel drives, the general rule is 30-70 for towed and semi-mounted equipment, and 35-65 for fully hitch-mounted equipment. Case offers weighting packages for light, medium, and heavy applications. A new front weight frame and weight design wraps the weights under the chassis without limiting ground clearance. The small weight frame accepts up to 10 100-pound weights, and the large frame accepts up to 18. Another front-end ballast option is a new solid weight system that features a single 1,000-pound weight. If used with the large wraparound weight frame, 2 additional 250-pound weights can be added. For rear wheel ballasting, a maximum of 1,500 pounds can be added to the inside wheel and a maximum of 1,000 pounds to the dual wheel. Remember, never exceed the overall tractor or individual axle maximum operating weight specified in the operator's manual. Overweighting increases fuel consumption and soil compaction. It reduces your acreage per day and contributes to power hop. If you'd like to learn more about weighting and ballasting, a CD-ROM discussing how to weight and ballast your tractor is available. With the ballasting complete, check the tire load and inflation chart in the operator's manual and inflate the tires as required for your application. If the tractor is equipped with MFD single tires, the front wheel tread can be adjusted to 8 different positions by turning the wheel discs and wheel rims in or out, as shown in the operator's manual. When setting tread position for MFD duals, refer to the dual configuration chart in your operator's manual for the various inner and outer wheel positions. Make any needed adjustments and bolt the wheel in place. Check your operator's manual for the correct front wheel torque and tighten accordingly. If your tractor is equipped with front fenders, they must also be adjusted to match the tread setting. They must be set so that there is adequate clearance between the fenders and other tractor components. For example, with a 60-inch tread, bolt the mounting bracket to the first or outside set of holes, with the support brace mounted on the tractor side of the bracket. Whenever you adjust the front tread setting, the steering and oscillation stops must be set to achieve the optimum steering angle and shortest turn radius. The operator's manual shows the correct stops for different tire sizes and tread settings. Failure to make these adjustments will result in less than ideal field performance and can cause tires to come in contact with the tractor in turns. Steering stops are located adjacent to the wheels on the front axle and provide 6 different steering angles from 34 to 55 degrees. An optional stop with settings from 17 to 33 degrees is also available. The steering and oscillation chart in the operator's manual shows the settings for different tread widths and tire sizes. To change the steering angle, reposition the steering stop pin in one of the 6 settings as shown. In our example, we'll set it at 44 degrees. The oscillation stops are located on the axle stop on each side of the tractor and provide either 6 degrees or 11 degrees of oscillation. The inside position limits axle oscillation to 6 degrees. The outside position allows oscillation up to 11 degrees. Refer to your operator's manual for the correct amount of oscillation for your application. When you put them in place, make sure that the arrow on each oscillation stop is pointing to the front of the tractor. Rear, inner, and dual tire setup will vary according to the application. Your operator's manual will help you determine what spacer or spacers you'll need and whether you need to turn the rims in or out. When working with duals, adjust the inner tire first and torque the bolts before adjusting the outer tire. Again, the proper torque for the bolts appears in the operator's manual. An additional tip: anytime you're operating with duals, the wide marker warning lights must be adjusted as well. All MX Magnum MFD axles provide up to a 55-degree steering angle, allowing turns onto 12 30-inch rows without braking. Turn radius for an MX Magnum with singles equipped with 14.9 by 30 tires set at 60 inches is just 17.4 feet. Safe operation of your MX Magnum tractor is not only important to your well-being, but for those around you as well. Before you begin operation, make sure that you've read your operator's manual carefully, and make sure that you keep it in the storage compartment when you work, so that it is close at hand when questions arise. Safety decals are located at various points on your machine. Read them carefully. They're placed there to alert you to potentially hazardous situations. Before operating your MX Magnum, fasten your seatbelt every time. The belt should fit snugly when tightened. Do not fasten it if it is twisted or pinched between the seat and structural members, and check to make certain that it lies flat across your body. Inspect the belt webbing, buckle, and retractors periodically for wear and replace worn or broken parts. When you shut down for the day, lower the implement to the ground. Move the transmission control lever to the park position. Stop the engine. Remove the key from the key switch and take it with you. Remember as you exit to use the handrails and steps, maintaining 3 points of contact. Performing basic maintenance will help keep your MX Magnum operating at its best. Here are some key checkpoints. The cab air filter is located under the cab door and is held by 2 retaining clamps. The filter slides out easily for cleaning with compressed air. To replace the filter, push it straight in until it seats in the gasket. Raising the hood provides access to the radiator as well as the oil cooler, condenser, and air-to-air cooler. All of these components can be cleaned with compressed air. Daily checkpoints such as engine and hydraulic oil and coolant level are easy to access. And when it's time to change filters, they are easy to reach and change. To change the 2-stage air filter, open the service door, unsnap the fasteners, and remove the filter. The primary filter can be cleaned up to 4 times between changes. The air conditioner uses environmentally safe HFC 134A refrigerant. This is the only refrigerant that should be used when recharging is needed. Fuses are located behind the operator's seat and under the air filter in the engine compartment. For specific fuse locations, see your operator's manual. A 12-volt auxiliary supply is also located under the hood. This supply can be used to power 12-volt attachments such as pumps. It is not used when jump starting. Jump starting is best done with 2 people, one in the cab and one to make the connections. Make sure that anyone having access to the batteries has adequate eye protection. Connect the positive cable from the auxiliary battery to the positive terminal of the tractor battery. Then, connect the negative terminal from the auxiliary battery to a good ground on the chassis, away from the battery. Once the connections have been made, start the tractor and disconnect the cables in the reverse order. Towing your MX Magnum tractor is not recommended. If repairs are required that can't be performed in the field, transport it on another vehicle. Engage the park lock or park brake and shut down the engine. Remove the key. Tie the tractor down with safety chains around the front and rear axle tie-down loops. There is a rear tie-down loop on the rear drawbar support on each side of the tractor. The safety chains must have a load rating greater than the gross load of the tractor. Do not tie to any other location on the tractor. Make sure that the transporting truck and trailer have the proper signage and lights, and be aware of the total vehicle height due to clearance problems you may face on your route. If you have any questions, be sure to read your operator's manual and keep it nearby for reference as you work, or contact your nearest Case IH dealer. The MX Magnum series from Case IH offers operators more features designed to make your day more productive and profitable.